Welcome to the colorful and papery world of the latest entry in everyone's favorite action-adventure video game series, Paper Mario. We get it this time. Follow Mario and a character who represents the game's mechanics as they embark on a mission to save the Mushroom Kingdom from the evil paper gimmick Scourge. As you can see, we've actually put in the minimum amount of effort this time. Look, here's a character who joins your quest named Babam. That's his name. This is what you guys wanted, right? You said you wanted partners, right? We get it this time. You see, Bowser isn't instantly mind-controlled at the beginning of this game, and there's a new antagonist. That means it's good again. For the first time in the series, or at least in the last several games, explore at least one environment that might be kind of interesting. Team up with unlikely allies like Bowser and the Toads. Last time we revealed a new Paper Mario game, we buried the trailer inconsequentially in the middle of a random Nintendo Direct, and people didn't like that very much, so this time around we just put up the trailer randomly on its own. It said it's coming out in a month and a half. We get it this time. Meet and team up with exciting characters like Babam.
He's got a Babam!
Banjo-Kazooie, Nuts and Bolts. We get it this time. People said that they wanted the old strategic turn-based combat system back, so we made a turn-based combat system. Get it? Cause you turn it. Get it? It's turn-based. Do you get it? Paper Mario is gone now. That was for the good of all Americans. Nintendo. I simply do not understand you, okay? If you went out there and asked your fans if anybody considered Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64 to be their favorite game of all time, tons of people would flood in. Heck yeah, dude, I love that game. Same thing goes for Thousand Year Door, for Super Paper Mario, and you know what, while we're at it, for Super Mario RPG. Meanwhile, there is no one out there even putting Sticker Star or Color Splash on their list of favorites, much less at the top. And after those two, oh boy, people were pissed. They were loud. I didn't even bother throwing my hat in the ring on YouTube after the whole Color Splash thing, because I was like, hey, you know what? People are making noise. It looks like they've got this. I'll just stay out of it. I don't need to be a negative Nancy about this, but apparently not enough noise was made because this trailer for the Origami King just seems like the limpest, most half-hearted lateral move I've ever seen. I don't expect Nintendo to suddenly turn around and create a game that recaptures the energy, that spark of originality of the first two Paper Mario games. If someone went and just tried to make a game that captured the feeling of Thousand Year Door, well, then they're just copying Thousand Year Door. It'd be derivative. So I don't want to act like I'm just sitting around going, why don't they just make a game like they used to? But the insistence on making these games that are just for no one is honestly baffling. I mean, sure, at least with Color Splash, you can tell that people worked hard, that there was at least some passion. The artists clearly had a fun time creating this papercraft world, and the writers and localization teams must have had a blast with this script. Color Splash does have some legitimate laughs in it. It has some fun art and level design, but the fact is that even those positive aspects of Color Splash simply pushed it further away from the things that people liked about the old games. Paper Mario was just a cutesy name because of the original title's 2D art style. In Japan, it was actually called Mario's Story, and the thing about that game that so captured people was that it was a Mario story. You gotta remember the time frame of that game's release. The Mario series was 15 years old, and with games like Mario 64, the aesthetics and world of Mario were finally taking on a solid, fleshed out form in the minds of players without, needing TV shows and comics and whatever. Paper Mario came in and said, okay, let's take this castle, these grasslands and desert and icy mountains, and let's make it a real place. Let's build some roads that connect the biomes, let's make some towns, let's have Goombas that go to school and Koopas that deliver the mail. The abstract, side-scrolling video game world of Mario was becoming something more tangible in this era, and people like story. They like being able to connect with these places, to feel like they're real. Then Thousand Year Door said, okay, now that we know the rules of this world, the tone, the aesthetics, what does the rest of the world outside the Mushroom Kingdom look like? And they just went to town, creating these fresh settings that somehow never betrayed the vibe established in the previous game. And then you got Super Paper Mario. It's a little bit weird and not quite the follow-up to the prior two games that people were expecting, but when it came to the writing and the characters at least, it still had the same tone. It still felt like it belonged as part of that story. And this, to me, is really the difference. The old Paper Mario games were Mario stories. Color Splash is a Mario parody. Oh look, we got all the color stars and they're making a path to Bowser's lair. It's like some kind of rainbow, but like also a road. It's like a road made out of rainbows. That's ludicrous. Oh, come on, Jacob, you're saying to yourself. Obviously the joke was more subtle than that in the game, but the joke's on you, cause I literally just read the game's actual script. Hopefully we don't fly off the road. Lakitu's not here to save us. I've fallen off of Rainbow Road more times than I can count.
That's so funny!
Thanks, Luigi. If anybody gives you any trouble, just give them that mean stare you showed us earlier.
Once you're aware of your own memes, you can train yourself to identify and replicate the good ones.
And kill the bad ones.
The characters are jokes, the story is a joke, the boss fights are jokes, the whole paper aesthetic, and by extension, the very ground that you walk upon is itself a joke. And perhaps I would find the jokes funnier if a good series hadn't died so they could be told.
And then Nintendo gives us a direct announcing Paper Mario into the fold, and it's all about origami. My heart can't take that kind of thing. Yeah, it just can't.
The game design, the combat, the combat. Paper Mario isn't an RPG series anymore. They're action-adventure games. You know what I think of when I think of action-adventure? Turn-based resource management combat. Yeah, these games are not for the action crowd, and they are not for the RPG crowd. They are RPGs created by people who do not want to be making RPGs. Even in this trailer for Origami King, look, they show like less than 5 seconds of the combat. It's like they're ashamed of it. It honestly feels like Miyamoto walked in and said, so they want turn-based combat, huh? I'll show them turn-based combat. So it's an action-adventure game about turn-based puzzle solving now, eh? I'm sure that solving this exact same type of puzzle every single time you get into a fight won't get old after 15 hours. Anyway, the Origami King. People are saying this game is a step in the right direction. They may be right. Maybe this game is a step in the right direction, but like, if we were to put the Paper Mario games on a map, with the original 2 games over here in New York somewhere, Color Splash and Sticker Star would be in California. So yeah, looks like with the Origami King, the franchise might have taken a step outside its Burbank apartment for the first time in 15 years. Technically, that is a step in the right direction, but it's still a pretty long trip to the Mason-Dixon line, and I don't think they'll make it anytime soon at this pace. Obviously, you know, we don't know exactly where this new game is gonna land on the map yet. It isn't out yet. It looks like this game may actually have a plot. Mario's gotta team up with Bowser and Bowser Jr., some of the remains of their loyal soldiers, to take down the Origami Killer. But it seems like the developers are still locked down by the dumb restrictions that have been plaguing the series for the last several games. No unique character designs except for this one toad with a shovel, a Babam named Babam who doesn't have a fuse. Wow, that's almost as good as the last Babam partner you got in a Paper Mario game, Admiral Bobbery, a legendary sea captain who has become a recluse following the death of his wife. You see, she died while he was away on a voyage and blames himself for not being there for her, and you have to find and deliver a missing letter that she wrote to him from her deathbed so that he can finally move on and return to sailing the seas as an unburdened man. But I'm sure that the bomb here is gonna be a real knockout too, along with this Kamek, who will probably be named Kamek. I mean, this couldn't have just been Kami Koopa? Seriously? That was too much originality for you. That would have just made Miyamoto's head spin right off, huh? It's so hard for me to talk about this. It's just a sad thing, man. I don't like the paper aesthetic. I don't like these ugly white outlines around all the characters. I don't like how everyone folds and creases. I just don't like how these games look. These aren't characters anymore. They're all gags. The story's a gag, the setting's a gag. I mean, check it out. There are holes torn in the ground so that you can see the wire framework holding the set together, because that's all it is, a set. I honestly do not get Nintendo's obsession with this stuff. Yoshi's Woolly World, Crafted World, Epic Yarn. Now these Paper Mario games are all just, hey, isn't it cute that the world is made out of paper? I don't know, man, I just can't get into it. I'm trying to have an open mind, but the contempt they seem to have for their fans is really bumming me out. And then there's the release date. As someone who hates when games are announced years and years before we'll ever get to play them, I usually really like that Nintendo holds off on announcing games until within a year or so of their launch. But a month and a half? They announced this game like it's a sequel to Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. Between this and the way that Color Splash got revealed, it's clear that the folks at Nintendo just don't take this series seriously. It's just something to fart out and help fill out the summer release schedule between the real games like Animal Crossing and whatever they're gonna put out this fall. Which, speaking of what's coming out this fall, those leaks about how they were gonna be Mario remasters coming out on the Switch, as well as a new Paper Mario that was going back to how the series used to be. I mean, this game isn't out yet, so we'll wait and see. I could certainly be proven wrong, but if this is how they think the series used to be, I'm not sure how many more tiny steps in the right direction I can wait through.